17,000 years ago, long before the first cities or farms, the world was a place of shadows and predators. In these forests, survival was never guaranteed. Every rustle of leaves could mean danger. Tonight, a small band of Homo sapiens moves carefully through the undergrowth. Their wooden spears and stone-tipped weapons are the thin line between life and death. Suddenly, two golden eyes blaze in the darkness. A saber-toothed cat, one of the Ice Age's most fearsome hunters, emerges from the brush. For these early humans, descendants of the toolmakers known as Homo habilis, this is not just a hunt. It is a battle for survival, carved into the memory, prehistory. The hunters close ranks, forming a circle of defiance. Spears tilt forward, their sharpened stone tips gleaming faintly in the firelight. This is cooperation in its rawest form, the very trait that would allow Homo sapiens to rise above every other creature of the prehistoric world. The saber-tooth lunges, claws tearing into the soil, a blur of muscle and fury. Dust explodes beneath its paws, spears fly, whistling through the night air, striking the beast's flank. It roars, enraged, its massive jaws flashing like ancient swords. One young hunter hurls a stone, distracting the predator just long enough for another to thrust his weapon forward. This was not the strength of a single man, but the unity of a community, the survival instinct that bound them together. For paleontologists today, scenes like this echo through the fossil record. Bones scarred by hunts, weapons carved from flint, traces of fire scattered in Ice Age caves. Each fragment tells us how these early humans not only endured but adapted. The saber-tooth snarls, its tail lashing, but the humans do not break. Voices rise in unison. Shouts, cries, the primal sound of courage. Faced with predators larger, stronger, and faster, Homo sapiens prevailed not through brute force, but through strategy, communication, and sheer determination. Tonight, as the cat falters and retreats into the shadows, victory belongs to the firelit hunters of prehistory. Breathless, the hunters lower their weapons, sweat glistening in the fire's glow. Laughter breaks through the fear, a rare moment of triumph in a world of constant danger. For Homo sapiens, victories like this meant more than survival. They strengthened trust, forged memory, and bound the group together. As night falls, the hunters turn homeward, carrying not just food, but the shared story of endurance in the Ice Age wilderness. At last, the dark outline of the cave emerges, a sanctuary carved into stone, shielding Homo sapiens from the relentless trials of the Ice Age. Children rush forward, their laughter echoing through the night, clinging to the hunters with unrestrained joy, proof that survival was never an individual feat, but the triumph of the whole community. A woman tends a shallow wound with leaves and careful hands, practicing one of the earliest forms of prehistoric medicine. Nearby, an elder rests his weight on a wooden staff, pride shining in his eyes as he touches the shoulder of a young hunter, wisdom passing silently between generations. The group gathers at the cave's mouth, fire crackling to life, driving back the shadows. Bones, berries, and meat are laid out, each offering a reminder that sharing resources meant survival for early humans. Smoke rises with the scent of roasted flesh, while children play with wooden spears, mimicking the hunters, learning by imitation as every generation had before. The old storyteller gestures vividly, keeping memory alive, while women weave rough curds from plant fibers, transforming simple materials into tools of endurance. In this circle of warmth and light, Homo sapiens did more than endure. They built the foundations of culture, resilience, and human evolution. The fire blazes brighter now, its glow painting the faces of Homo sapiens gathered close, each expression alive with memory and imagination. A hunter rises, arms extended, reenacting the fierce charge of the saber-tooth, his movements exaggerated in the flickering light. Another voice growls like a beast, sending children into bursts of laughter, proof that storytelling was more than survival. It was entertainment, teaching, and bonding. In their minds, the cave walls dissolve into boundless landscapes, wild horses thundering across prehistoric plains, herds of deer scattering as hunters release spears with precision, a roaring cave bear demanding quick reflexes to escape. These stories are not just diversions, they are lessons in prehistoric survival, teaching the next generation how to endure and adapt in a dangerous Ice Age world. Back around the fire, laughter fades into attentive silence. A woman strikes rhythm on a stone, the first beat of music echoing against rock, blending sound with story. The group sits shoulder to shoulder, firelight dancing across the cavern walls, shadows stretching like ancient spirits. A child drifts into sleep, resting against a mother's shoulder, while the night closes with peace. Here, in the warmth of fire and the power of words, early humans shaped the beginnings of culture, ritual, and the shared identity of our species.
The glowing campfire
As the fire settles into glowing embers,
images
a new
on
silence
vast
descends,
stone
a
surface.
moment of reflection. From the circle, an elder Homo sapiens rises slowly, carrying the weight of memory and years of survival. He gathers charcoal from the flames, grinding it carefully against the stone, then presses red pigment from crushed minerals into his weathered hand. With deliberate strokes, he begins to sketch the first lines on the cavern wall, the curved outline of a saber-toothed cat, born from both fear and triumph. Each mark recalls the battle just survived, translating lived experience into enduring symbol. The clash of predator and human is reborn on stone, a record for those not yet old enough to fight, and for generations still to come. Children lean forward, eyes wide with wonder, watching as the elder's steady hand shapes not only animals, but also their own kind. Homo sapiens, spears raised, eyes fierce with determination. Through art, they witness themselves as part of something larger, a species capable of confronting the most formidable beasts of the Ice Age. A child presses a painted hand against the rock, leaving a human imprint beside the figures. It is more than play. It is identity made visible, a declaration. We were here. Slowly, the wall comes alive with images of men and beasts locked in struggle, shimmering in the firelight. The elder steps back, his gaze distant, while children cheer and point at the scene, astonished.
Wow!
In these vivid lines, Homo sapiens forged the beginnings of memory, belief, and the timeless human story. Before the glowing wall of images, the Homo sapiens gather in solemn silence. The paintings are no longer just pictures, they carry meaning, a bridge between survival and spirit. One individual presses a painted hand against the stone, whispering a quiet prayer, as if asking the natural world for protection. Torchlight flickers, shadows dance across the cavern, and the ritual deepens. The group strikes stones in rhythm, creating echoes that transform the cave into a chamber of sound. Even a child mimics the sacred gestures, learning through play. In this moment, belief, art, and survival weave into the first threads of human spirituality. On the walls, the final images glow: the saber-toothed cat, the hunters, the wild herds. Each line and color is more than memory. It is survival turned into story, fear transformed into meaning. As the camera drifts outward, the cave becomes a beacon of human spirit in the vast darkness. Here begins culture, belief, and art, the immortal signature of Homo sapiens. If you want to journey deeper into humanity's past, subscribe and continue the series, Life Thousands of Years Ago.